into the magic of Disneyland across the decades. We're celebrating 70 years of magical moments starting on day one.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
From Walt Disney's gamble to global legend, we take you through the iconic moments.
We have combined technologies that have really never been matched before.
The pulse-pounding thrills. And the behind-the-scenes stories.
It's simple items that are all put together to make some sort of an illusion.
They'll see a pirate move that shouldn't have moved.
A journey through the history of the happiest place on Earth and the bumps along the way.
You didn't know what was coming next, and it was just great.
This is our Disneyland 70th anniversary special, and it starts right now. Hello and welcome to our Salute to Disneyland. Be our guest as we celebrate the 70th anniversary of the happiest place on Earth. I'm Marcella Lee. Here in San Diego, we're lucky to be about a 90-minute drive away from Disneyland, which means we've been able to cover many magical milestones at the park through the years. We start with opening day, July 17th, 1955. In fact, I'm holding right now the original script book from that day. You see it, July 1955. These are the scripts our news anchor Ray Wilson read back then. You can see here at the top it says Disneyland opens, a 90-second story. It's really incredible that we still have the original book in our archives. We start our special now with me reading this original script just as it aired on our newscast 70 years ago. Disneyland, Southern California's $17 million playground dedicated to children, both young and old, opened its gates to the public today. These pictures were taken yesterday by Channel 8 cameraman Mel Forbes during a special preview showing of the Wonderland to invited guests. Views from a helicopter show the huge 60-acre playland. The park is the brainchild of Walt Disney and includes such creations as a Mississippi River showboat, a horse-drawn trolley, and Snow White's castle. 30,000 persons streamed through the park at this initial opening, and one had all he could do in some instances to keep from being crushed. But visitors, some of them familiar to many, like Eddie Fisher, accepted the inconvenience. From 4:30 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, a live ABC telecast brought opening ceremonies to folks across the nation. It was presented over Channel 8 in San Diego. Then Governor Knight and Disney led a parade of Disney's imaginative characters through the grounds. There was Alice in Wonderland, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and such famous persons as Davy Crockett, Fess Parker, and Annie Oakley. Disneyland hopes to handle 60,000 persons a day when it's in full operation. Officials say they hope to gross $10 million a year. Tickets are $1 for adults and 50 cents for children. The park has 35 rides, and there's an extra cost to ride each one, starting from $0.25 for adults and $0.10 for children. It was bold, it was brilliant, and it blasted Disneyland into the future. Always looking forward, Walt Disney and his team revamped Tomorrowland. And in 1967, with a $23 million makeover, they featured the People Mover, rocket jets, and other out-of-this-world attractions. We were there as guests witnessed history in motion. Today at Disneyland, a bright new land of tomorrow filled with motion, energy, and entertainment opened with a blast of rockets, a whir of wheels, and a swish of jet engines. Costing more than $23 million, the new product of Walt Disney's creative genius is an awe-inspiring showcase for science and industry, demonstrating that tomorrow's world can be achieved today. Highlights of the new attractions include the People Mover, an entirely new intermediate speed transportation system. Travel through a mighty microscope as guests appear to shrink as they enter a new miniature world. Flight to the Moon, a realistic simulation of space travel, pull of gravity, and weightlessness. Carousel of Progress, 6 satellite auditoriums revolving around a central core of stages. Rocket Jets, a thrilling space adventure plus a new high-level view of the Disneyland area.
The rebuilding of Tomorrowland is the realization of Walt Disney's original goal, that a Tomorrowland exhibit would be a constantly changing step into the future.
The next big installment came in 1979. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad came roaring to life, sending visitors on a wild ride through the Old West. News 8's Liz Purcell hit the tracks to capture the first reactions, from surprise twists to screams and smiles.
They call it Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, a runaway train ride that takes you through Gold Rush territory. It's the newest attraction at Disneyland. Mickey Mouse and the other Disney characters climbed aboard for the first trip. The rest of us followed. The train passes through a pitch-black cave and chugs through a waterfall. There are howling coyotes and an earthquake complete with rock slides. At its peak, the train hits 28 miles per hour, faster than the Matterhorn, but slower than Space Mountain. After the media tried out Thunder Mountain, the public got a shot at it.
Great, wonderful.
What'd you like about it?
Oh, just the surprise. You didn't know what was coming next, and it was just great.
At times it was scary and at times it was fun.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
What'd you
He really
like?
did it. Oh, I didn't have the gut-wrenching up and down that roller coasters usually have.
The train is not your typical roller coaster ride. The speed of the cars is controlled by magnets, and all of Thunder Mountain is operated by a sophisticated computer. But even computers need trial runs to work out the bugs.
So a computer problem, won't be able to run our trains for about a half an hour or so. So you might want to check back then.
The delay was only temporary. The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is ready to officially open to everyone Saturday. Liz Purcell, News 8, Disneyland.
While designing Big Thunder Mountain, Imagineer Tony Baxter also dreamed up Discovery Bay, a futuristic 1800 San Francisco filled with steampunk thrills. It featured ambitious attractions like a submarine simulator, Dino River Rapids, and a skyway balloon. Tied to Big Thunder's Gold Rush backstory, the land was scrapped after a movie flop, and this space later became Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. As we celebrate 70 years of Disneyland, we're also taking a trip back at the park's 30th anniversary in 1985. The opening day in 1955 was famously chaotic. Disneyland found its footing, growing from 18 attractions to 55 over the decades. While classic characters and rides were carefully preserved, the park was facing new challenges. Just the year before, 1,800 cast members, both in park and behind the scenes, went on strike. Lasting 3 weeks, it became the largest cast member strike in Disneyland history and left a scar on its legacy.
It hurt the studio, it hurt the park, it hurt the cast members. It has been slow to heal, and undoubtedly there are still sores. Just a tragic situation. It should never have happened.
Attendance also began to dip in 1985. So to mark the 30th anniversary and bring more people through the gates, Disneyland hosted a $12 million gift giveaway. Every 30th guest received a prize, and the lucky 250 millionth visitor to walk through their gates won the biggest prize. The Disneyland magic may be timeless, but the price of admission certainly isn't. When Disneyland first opened its gates, a one-day adult ticket cost just $1. Can you believe that? Kids were 50 cents, and individual ride tickets were sold separately for up to 35 cents. So where did the price hikes really take off? Admission prices stayed relatively low for decades and then more than doubled in the 1980s. Then came the 1990s when the park crossed the $30 threshold. By the mid-2000s, tickets were more than $50. Ticket prices moved to $100 just 10 years later. Fast forward to 2025, and that same ticket now runs up to $200, depending on the day. Disney says the rising prices reflect inflation, new attractions, and the rising cost of operations. With those ticket prices always rising, any deal is a good deal, right? In 1991, Disneyland introduced its discounted ticket prices for Southern California residents. You just had to show your license to prove that you were a local, not a tourist. And San Diegans got to take advantage of that.
Discount would have definitely not been as good a dinner for us as it's going to be tonight. So it saved us about $17.
Officials initially said they offered the SoCal discount to say thanks. But really, the deal is a clever way to bring in business throughout the winter and spring when the Magic Kingdom is typically dead. Either way, it is a deal. Still ahead on this special look at 70 years of Disneyland, Disney takes a daring leap after dark. A closer look at the magic of Fantasmic, a high-tech operation of mist, lights, and lasers. Plus,
wave goodbye to the real world.
from curses to pirates to plunging elevators, we're diving into the secrets of Disneyland's most thrilling rides. And before the break, a look at Disneyland's secrets you never knew. Stay with us. We'll be right back. By day, it's quiet. By night, it's pure Disney magic. In 1992, something spectacular lit up Tom Sawyer's Island, and it was and is unlike anything that the park has ever done before. Fantasmic was a jaw-dropping blend of lights, mist, and Mickey like you had never seen him before. News 8's Hal Clement ventured up to Disneyland to experience the spectacle and got a behind-the-scenes tour to see how the magic happens.
Tom Sawyer's Island. It's been a fixture at Disneyland for years. A nice, quiet place. Well, Tom Sawyer's Island is looking a little different at night these days. It's a show called Fantasmic, and even by Disney standards, it is quite an undertaking.
The technical aspects of this show are absolutely overwhelming. We have combined technologies that have really never been matched before.
Children, of course, will simply look at this and assume it's magic, which it is in a way. Adults might wonder, how do they do this? Well, those huge animated images are projected on screens made of mist. 600 gallons of mist a minute sprayed into the air, making 3 screens 100 feet wide and 45 feet tall. The show was 18 months in the making, and just a few weeks ago, the performers and the myriad technical effects got together for the first time. Everything that had been planned worked.
Everybody getting on the stage and using the waterways has just made it feel like we have finally accomplished this. We've gotten to the end of our task.
You have a smile of great relief on your face when you say that.
I have an incredible smile of great relief.
As the sternwheeler Mark Twain sails peacefully by during the day, there is no hint of the spectacle that will be unfolding at night. On a show this technically complicated, there's obviously a lot of equipment. You've got the mist screens, you've got water effects, you've got lights, but you look at Tom Sawyer's Island, you don't see any of that equipment. Well, the reason is a lot of it is right down there. That's right, a lot of equipment is stored underwater, and a lot more on Tom Sawyer's Island. Project manager Steve Granich gave us a tour.
One of the challenging things in the design of the show is the fact that we have something like approximately 386 light circuits, and we had to disguise them.
So they're hidden in barrels and inside rocks. And there's a lot more inside the cider mill, which is actually 5 stories, 3 of them underground. Now, in a Disney movie, somebody would wave a wand and say bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, and all this would start happening. It's not that simple in real life. You need computers, complex electronics.
We interlocked the computers with the projection system, the audio system, the lighting. Everything is sequenced.
Inside the cider mill is a maze of wires, lights, special effects, hydraulic lifts, lasers, fiber optics, you name it. And it will all come together 3 times a night. Disney, of course, has done shows before, lots of shows, but no one has ever done anything quite like this.
No, I don't believe anybody has. And I think it'll be a while before we attempt this again.
Hal Clement, News 8.
It wasn't your typical ribbon cutting, more like an action scene straight out of a blockbuster. In 1995, Disneyland debuted its bold and bumpy Indiana Jones ride. Disney chief Michael Eisner and George Lucas were there to kick off a collaboration that changed the park forever. But before the crowds rushed in, News 8's Bob Hansen got the first wild ride.
Let's just say it wasn't your run-of-the-mill ribbon cutting. While Indiana Jones fought off the bad guys, the big boys, Disney chief Michael Eisner and movie guru George Lucas, kicked off their collaboration. The ride itself is squeezed between the Swiss Family Treehouse and the Jungle Cruise, but this adventure is anything but smooth sailing.
If you go on a mechanical bull, that's a good way to establish it. It's a rolling mechanical bull because you're always bouncing left and right and forward and backward.
Sounds more like a mugging than a ride, but I had to give it a try, wandering through the detailed temple to Disney's newest attraction.
With Indiana Jones, you have something new and something old. It's a very new ride, but of course it starts with the very old Disneyland habit of standing in line.
The Indiana Jones adventure is a bump a minute. Actually, make that a bump a second, which isn't bad for a 5-minute ride.
You do need the seatbelt.
While strapped into the hydraulically controlled Jeep, I followed a path through walls of snakes and skeletons, then whisked past flashes of fire, all the while being tossed around like a rag doll.
You don't know where to grab onto.
Well, wherever you grab, the ride is always changing. The man who put this thing together made it so every trip is different.
Well, the ride is programmable, and we have multiple variations of programs, and each vehicle gets its own version of the show.
While there are as many as 160,000 variations, Michael Eisner feels he's seen most of them.
I've gone through it in a parking lot in Tahunga, in a warehouse where we just had the ride system. I've gone through it when there was no sound. I've gone through it when there was no sets. I've gone through it in every possible configuration you can imagine.
But while the Disney chief likes it, what about the people that matter? The kids who stand tall enough to ride the Indiana Jones adventure.
It's really bumpy. It's
too bumpy?
Yes, too bumpy and too fast. I expect it to be really scary, but after you get on it, it's scary, but it's really fun too.
The ride won't actually open to the public until Friday. But for people who rode it today, that should give us enough time to heal from our bruises and try it again. Bob Hansen, News 8.
I do love that ride. Disneyland is known for its thrills, chills, and jaw-dropping storytelling, but what really brings the magic to life is what you don't see. Jeff Zevely takes us behind the scenes of some of Disneyland's most iconic attractions, from the ancient traps of Indiana Jones, the secrets hidden in Pirates of the Caribbean, to the haunted halls of the Tower of Terror.
Walking across a rickety bridge with flaming eyeballs and snapping snakes, we walk the Indiana Jones track and find intrigue around every corner. Whoa.
So as the cars leave the station, you know, you're getting a choice of whether it's future, riches, or youth.
And that's how it went. One heart-pumping panic attack after the next.
As the vehicle comes through here, this comes down at it.
Skeletons, skulls, bugs, and don't even get me started on the Tunnel of Torment where we first met Indiana Jones, who in darkness and smoke looks like a real person.
I mean, that's amazing to me.
It's all the magic.
It's a blistering pace from midnight to 8 in the morning when the Indy crew keeps one of Disneyland's most popular rides running. From vacuuming to mopping to removing trash on the track, they focus on safety and special effects, like all of those noises that sound so real. How fast does this thing go? For Disneyland, the bigger the better, which led us straight to the ride's grand finale.
See how Indy's hips are moving, his legs are moving, he's looking around.
This is where the riders think they're rolling backwards, but stay still.
There it goes. Now watch the ball. The ball's rolling at you. See that? This is so cool. And in the vehicle, it feels like you're actually backing up, and the ball's moving towards you.
Before you check into the Tower of Terror for the scare of your life, a crew of cast members works an all-night shift to make sure you'll live to tell the tale.
So, Robert, normally people sit down and they ride the ride here.
Right.
But we're not going to be sitting here when we go to the top of the Tower of Terror. No, we're not.
Okay. All right, in motion. Turns out we wouldn't be sitting at all, but standing on top of a maintenance platform.
Where are we going from here?
I believe we're going to go straight to the top.
The Tower of Terror is 183 feet tall, and we inched our way to the top because the purpose of this climb is to eyeball every detail.
Yeah, we're checking all equipment, the operation of all equipment.
First stop, the 4th floor of Fright, called the Looking Glass.
Wave goodbye to the real world.
From the outside looking in, the Tower of Terror is chaotic and confused. But behind the scenes, the madness is methodical, with a safe and strong system of pulleys and cables guiding you to a breathtaking view.
And there's a view from the 13th floor. All of Disneyland and half of Anaheim.
Hours before you hop on Disneyland's most popular ride.
Guys ever have a TV crew show up at 3:30 in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
An overnight crew gears up to keep pirates from breaking down. Dave Huerlius can spend up to 3 hours a night working in 64-degree water so that you can have your 16 minutes of fun.
We check them every night. We check every bearing in the station every night.
The stars of the sea have faces so familiar they're almost friends, from the old schoolers I grew up with.
You okay with me putting my arm around you?
To the new generation of Captain Jack Sparrow.
When you're up close and next to them, they're very, very lifelike.
And sometimes the new hires have to choose between haunted or hallucination.
They'll see a pirate move that shouldn't have moved, but yet they'll see it move and it'll scare them.
Jeff Zeppelin, News 8.
I never knew you don't actually move backwards in Indiana Jones. And the Tower of Terror, of course, is now Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, we're not done yet. Up next, grab your Mickey ears. We're there as the original Mouseketeers return to Disneyland, reliving the magic and thrilling fans once again. But first, more Disneyland facts collected over 7 decades. We'll be right back. Disneyland isn't always the happiest place on earth, especially when you bring kids too young to understand the experience. Back in 1993, our own Larry Himmel took his 1-year-old son Miles to Disneyland and discovered the real magic isn't always on the rides. Larry showed us his day consisted of long lines, crowded kiddie zones, and 0 time for adult attractions. Forget Space Mountain. He chased his toddler through Toontown. But in the end, it wasn't about the rides. Larry said it was about the joy of being there and seeing the wonder of Disneyland through your child's eyes. Isn't that the truth? Millions once again grabbed their mouse ears to join the magic of the Mickey Mouse Club. And in 1983, they returned to the stage for crowds of fans. 9 original Mouseketeers dusted off their iconic costumes to bring back the magic, music, and memories that started it all. From wild jitterbugs to heartfelt memories, they're proving that friendship and fun never fade.
When it was time for the Mickey Mouse Club, millions of viewers grabbed their mouse ears and joined in the fun.
Fun with music is fun. Fun for everyone.
This month, part of that fun is being recaptured at Disneyland. 9 of the original Mouseketeers have dusted off their costumes to recreate that old magic. The Mouseketeers are still as much of a family as they were when they started back in 1955.
Sharon and Bobby, Tommy, Lonnie, we see each other socially, and Ned, we see her all the time. Professionally and socially, we're together still.
Sherry Alberoni is the baby of the Mouseketeers at 36. Bobby is the senior at 42. His dancing skills landed him a job on the Lawrence Welk Show. He stayed for 22 seasons. Is he still in his prime?
I'm dancing with Mouseketeer Sharon in this show. Of course, I'm 6 foot and she's still 4'8". But I can throw her around twice as much as I can my current Lawrence Welk partners. And it seems to be going over real good. We're doing a real wild jitterbug routine.
The Mouseketeers perform the show 4 times a day on the weekends. This is show number 33, and these girls have seen them all.
No, I just like the shows. I've been following it for 4 years now. Every show, every weekend when they're here.
Especially when Cubby's here.
Yeah, especially when Cubby's here.
Life has been a piece of cheese for these Mouseketeers, and they certainly have a lot to be thankful for.
I've just had a real wonderful life so far, and so I'm thankful that everything has gone so well, and I wouldn't have changed a thing.
And I think I'm very, very fortunate because on the weekends, it's here. For me, I'm reliving my childhood and my ego is being soothed, and I'm singing and dancing with my friends and having a wonderful time, and it's Fantasyland.
The show is expected to be back sometime next summer. Jesse Macias, News 8, Disneyland.
Thanks for joining us. Take care and see you real soon.